CRMs, it's like your magic system that holds all the glue together as a real estate agent. Well, KVCore and Follow Up Boss are two of the most popular CRMs, and I have battle tested both of them as a solo agent and a team leader over the years. So I'm going to break down what I think is the best one, and ultimately at the end of the video tell you what we're using today. By the way, my name's Chad Leonberg, and if you'd like to talk to me about how our Shark Partner program for real estate agents has helped hundreds of agents grow six-figure businesses in real estate, hit me up at the contact info below. Okay, so the first category I want to look at is phone systems, because really if you're a successful real estate agent, you're on the phone. So really, Follow Up Boss just flat out wins here. I'll cut to the chase because it's so user friendly. As a solo agent, it works like having another phone in your hand. Just whenever you open the app, it's your phone, just with the log. And that's really the key difference, is that Follow Up Boss has a kind of inbox tab, whereas KVCore is a little bit more messy with its phone system. So, you can just see all your texts. For me personally in Follow Up Boss, there was kind of like an unread, and then it would go red, and it would get in the red folder. I would leave anything that I haven't dealt with that day in the unread section. So it was like a task list for me to make sure I got back to everybody, which is huge. Coming from somebody who has lost a sale because they didn't, they missed a text or email from a client before, it is a very important deal that you don't miss any of your communications, which would be a major reason why you'd want to use your phone system in your CRM, among others that I would highly push. But ultimately, Follow Up Boss, it's more user-friendly for the phone system, and having that kind of inbox is key. Now, that said, KVCore, it does have a good phone system. It works fine, but it's more of like kind of bulk based. Follow Up Boss is a little bit more relational, I would say, like a little bit more what a solo agent would want, but at the same time, it has such great user friendliness and the ability to kind of assign and mention people in conversations. So it also works for a team. So it really wins on both categories. Just definitely hands down Follow Up Boss for the phone system. The only negative with the phone system is you cannot bulk text with Follow Up Boss. It's the only thing I can really complain about. Now, there's a few third-party services you can use to do this, but it's going to use a different number. But ultimately, having the ability to go in KVCore, select 30 people, say all your clients, and say, hey, come to my client party this Friday. Even just that, right? That's super helpful in KVCore. So that's the only big drawback I have for Follow Up Boss. But like I said, there are a few workarounds. Now, automations, the second category I want to talk about is automations. This is KVCore for the most part, at least in terms of being built in. But I will give KVCore the win here because I think they're more deployable and ready to rock and roll. Follow Up Boss, I see a lot of people using it that just don't have automations. Now, it's fully capable, but you definitely want to use a lot of third-party things and integrations to utilize those automations. KVCore obviously having IDX built into the website. Drip campaigns pretty much just ready to rock and roll, and various types that you can just deploy in your system. I think KVCore, as well as if somebody views a property 3 times, it will auto text them. That's a huge one. So KVCore is just out of the box, ready to go for automations. Follow Up Boss has a lot of this capability, but you really have to go more with third-party tools to maximize the automation ability of Follow Up Boss. So I'll give KVCore the win here. Now, user friendliness, I know I kind of talked about this with phone, but I think user friendliness is a very important aspect from coaching so many agents over the years, the hundreds of agents I've coached. They say the best CRM is the one that you'll actually use, and I think to further that, it has to be user friendly for you to use it. This is just hands down Follow Up Boss, no contest. Everything about it is just buttery smooth. It's faster, it's less clunkier. You kind of get where things are at. I will say it has a lot of advanced features, but most people don't get to those advanced features. They can be complicated for sure, but because Follow Up Boss is so user-friendly, those people that will never need those advanced features actually get to the meat quicker because Follow Up Boss is just user-friendly, I guess, if that makes sense. So I don't know how to explain it, in one example. It's just across the board, everything is where you'd expect it to be. It runs like it should. Whereas KVCore, I've had a lot of glitches, a lot of errors. I've had to fight the automations to get them set right, or this or that, just different things I've had a lot of issues with. I think KVCore, like I said, has more power out of the gate, but Follow Up Boss with its user friendliness you get to what you need to get to quicker. So IDX, this is going to be the fourth category we're going to look at. IDX, basically having, if you don't know what IDX is, having your homes on your website, having home search on your website. It's non-existent in Follow Up Boss. It doesn't exist at the base level. Now, there's a lot of third-party tools like Sierra and Real Geeks and different websites and Ylopo that you can purchase and then tie into Follow Up Boss as your CRM and make them talk to each other. As well as Follow Up Boss gives you a pixel that you can install on any site. So let's say you have a IDX at your current brokerage or like KVCore. You can take a code and install it on your website, and it will track if your users are on your website and feed it back into Follow Up Boss. So again, Follow Up Boss has the capability, but it's not built in out the gate. KVCore has this built in out the gate, ready to rock and roll. And there is an advantage to it being in-house. I know I've had Ylopo plugged into Follow Up Boss. I've had Real Geeks. I've had a couple of them. I've put pixels on websites. There is an advantage to being natively integrated into website and CRM like KVCore has. There's a lot of power with it. I think the power that's there, a lot of team leaders end up wanting more. They like the taste of it and they want to go further. But for a solo agent, I think it has everything you need and then some. I think it's super powerful. It's one of the most underutilized abilities with solo agents using KVCore. Now, this next category I'm looking at is which one is better for a solo agent or a team. And this is kind of odd because, a solo agent, I almost recommend, if I know they can't handle any complication at all, I just recommend Follow Up Boss because it's simpler. But, KVCore is better as a solo agent. There's more out of the box. You don't have to buy a bunch of other stuff. Follow Up Boss has said that they're geared and focused on teams. KVCore gives the powers that a lot of teams have with their big spend and their systems and processes to the solo agent. So I really like KVCore for the solo agent. If I'm talking to somebody and they can't handle any tech at all, I'm going to recommend them Follow Up Boss. Now, team leaders, KVCore can definitely work. I used it for years. It's very workable, but I think Follow Up Boss, because of its ability to integrate with so many other third-party tools, it becomes a little bit better, and the user friendliness is good because when you scale and add a lot more agents, it gets complex, and that clunkiness really slows you down in KVCore, whereas Follow Up Boss, you can, between the leaderboard, between mentioning both your team members and even your admins or ISAs, and like tagging them in a note, which then adds them as a collaborator on the file. It's just super robust and easy to use, and then you can plug it in with whatever tools you're currently using. Running a team, you probably have a budget for some sort of better IDX type system like Sierra and Real Geeks and all these different ones. So I think that, solo agent, I would go KVCore as long as you're not totally baffled by tech. You don't have to be a wizard, but just not totally baffled. Or team leader, I would definitely recommend Follow Up Boss. All right, now the sixth thing is which one moves the needle better. I think, just simply put, just being simple, Follow Up Boss moves the needle better. If you're a team leader, you've got a leaderboard, it's very clear. If you're a solo agent, you'll get to action taking steps sooner. KVCore, because of its kind of complicatedness and power ability, the powers it has, it can take you down a few rabbit holes. You might not move the needle as much. Yeah, I'd say Follow Up Boss puts you into the conversations quicker. It doesn't get in the way of the relationship aspect of being a real estate agent, where KVCore sometimes can. Now, properly optimized, especially as a solo agent, I think KVCore can dominate. It's got a lot of power, but I think ultimately Follow Up Boss gets agents to move the needle quicker than KVCore. But overall, I have been through about every CRM and tech site you can think of. I had shiny new objects engine for years. I gave up because I have a lot of wants and needs, and I ended up with a business partner building our own CRM and system. So if you're interested in all what we or our partners are using to build and maintain six-figure businesses in real estate, don't hesitate to shoot me a message or leave a comment below. Or I'd be happy to jump on a strategy call with you anytime. There's info in the description as well. So tell me in the comments below, what do you use? What CRM are you currently using? Which ones are you looking at? I'm very curious to get a pulse on what people are using in today's world. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. I hope that was valuable, and I will see you at the top.